I have a confession to make. I'm a filthy cheater. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome to the underground laboratory where we create robots, alien zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. And there's something I've been wanting to get off my chest. I am horrible at keeping a sketchbook. I mean, really bad. I can't tell you how many of these I have with like just a few sketches or nothing in them at all. And that's something I gotta work on, but that's an issue that's gonna take some time and something we gotta get into on some later videos. Now, I don't wanna give you guys the wrong impression. I mean, I do sketch. I mean, I draw practically every day, but you know, when I do, it's usually on, you know, little sheets of Bristol paper or just photocopy paper. So that's kind of my MO. That's how I go about it. But there's pluses and minuses to everything. You know, the good thing about just sketching loose sketches, sometimes people want to purchase your sketch and you can send it out to them without ripping it out of the sketchbook or whatever. Sometimes it's a little better quality paper. You don't have to be too precious worrying about ruining your sketchbook. Now, that's the whole idea of working a sketchbook, and that's sort of my problem. And again, that's something I got to work on. I have accumulated tons and tons of sketches, and they just keep piling up in my drawer, and I kind of want to clear out some of that stuff. But I want to leave some sort of record, some sort of documentation of the work that I've done, because that's the really good thing about sketchbooks is you can look through them and you can see the progress you made and everything. So I want to do that. So I am going to attempt to cheat my way to completing a sketchbook, and you can too. And I'm going to show you some of the techniques. So we're going to get to it right now. All right, the first thing you want to do is get all your original sketches and cut them down to size if they aren't already, or you can do what I'm doing, and I'm just making reproductions of my drawings for my sketchbook, because this is just something that I can look back on, because a lot of these sketches I've either sold or maybe I plan to sell or do art drops or something like that, so I just want something just to show that I created it or look back on, see my progress. So I just scanned in my picture. Now I'm going to go ahead and drop each one of my sketches into this little Illustrator file. And as you can see, I've got little crop marks there, so I know where to cut these out so that they're all the right size and everything. Then I'm going to go ahead and print these out. And I'm just going to go and cut right along those crop marks, make sure everything is nice and straight. You can also, if you want, you can use a paper cutter. I use a paper cutter for some things I just find it's a little more precise if I can use a metal ruler and X-Acto knife. Then make sure your papers are all lined up and straight. Get a couple of binder clips, clip them to the top, like so, and then I'm just sandwiching it between, I've got these two pieces of plastic and some clamps on there. I'm going to remove the binder clips. You can also use, you know, hardcover books or whatever works. If you got a book press or a tofu press would even work. And then I'm just using some PVA glue, and I'm going to go across that whole thing and let that dry. Actually, you want to do like 2 or 3 coats of that. So let it dry, then do other coats. And while I'm doing that, I am going to cut out the back and the front of my sketchbook. And like I said, for this, I am using a paper cutter, whatever works, and lay that on your front or your back, and then put the front cover over that. Make sure it's lined up. Now I've got this is a gaffer's tape. It's kind of like a cloth tape. And I am going to cut this down. It's a little thick right now, so I'm going to cut the ends off and then part of the top off, so it's a little thinner. And then I'm going to go ahead and just wrap that around, and it'll give my binding a little more of a finished look, and it will secure the front and the back of my sketchbook together. And of course the interior has all been glued, so that's all nice, and that's going to stay put. And yeah, it gives it a nice little finish. And to finish everything off, I just put some stickers on here. I got stickers from some of my friends and some of my own stickers, just to make it nice and you know, presentable. And then I just use a little hair tie to bind it all together. Okay, now that I've got a completed sketchbook, I thought I would do a little sketchbook tour. So let's kind of take a look. First off, this is just sort of a dinosaur sketch. Just trying to, you know, practice drawing some cartoon dinosaurs. This is probably going to be part of a project if I ever get around to it. Sort of an all-star team up of different science animals that contributed to science or notable from science. This would be Sue the dinosaur, which I believe is the largest T-Rex skeleton ever discovered. Unless something recently has happened, I don't know. But I would also include like Laika the dog and Dolly the sheep and stuff like that, and kind of have them teaming up as cartoon characters as sort of just a illustration or something. It wouldn't be a comic book project or anything. Here's another dinosaur that decided to kind of retrofit him out with some you know, I don't know, construction type material. You know, just like he could
you know, be doing some construction work. He's got saws and of course his protective eyewear and all that cool stuff that you need. And let's see, so this guy, I don't know, he's just kind of rising out of the muck, sort of a creature from the Black Lagoons type thing, or maybe he's an alien, not quite sure about that guy. So this girl here, I do a comic book called Young and the Dead. It's kind of kids versus zombies. This isn't actually one of the characters from there, but it could be. It could kind of live in that world. Might be neat in the future, maybe they run into her, but she's kind of decked out ready to do some battle with some zombies. This guy, just kind of a sinister looking Jack-in-the-Box robot type guy. And I like this guy. He's just kind of speeding through space, maybe on his way to school. He looks like kind of a little chubby kid alien, kind of maybe going to school. He's got his backpack and everything. This one I like too. It's a similar principle. We've kind of got that Kirby crackle that I like to throw in. But just this rocket sloth, you know, he's just this little slow guy that just zooming through space, kind of like, huh? Thought that was kind of fun. And I don't always do like science-based stuff. Sometimes I switch it up a little bit. I just thought this was part of, some of this stuff is from Inktober, so this was, you know, it's just a hog on a motorcycle. Kind of thought that would be cool, sort of a biker hog. Do a lot of giant mechs trampling over cities and debris and things like that. That's one of those. This guy here, here's some hipster type stuff. So I'm a child of the 80s, so you know, you got your Mega Mix cassettes, but kind of unraveling type robot. And this guy here, this is my hipster bot. And I actually did a postcard. I kind of took this to a finished illustration, did a postcard on it and everything, but I wanted to throw this in because I wanted to see where it kind of all started. So that's where that started, but I thought it would also make a pretty cool enamel pin, so maybe in the future. Another guy kind of rocketing through space. That's kind of a reoccurring theme, but he's got this little guy in tow. I don't know what he's doing. I am a huge fan of Halloween, so I was playing around with some Halloween type here. And here's some more Halloween stuff. This is sort of Tim Burton inspired type look, I think, kind of. I just decided to play with some little Halloween trick-or-treater type kids. Here's some more. Again, you know, we got Frankenstein. You see my Frankenstein on the cover. Yeah, my friend Kevin Cross, who just put out this awesome video on sketchbooking, says he always includes a Frankenstein, and I draw a lot of Frankenstein too. But of course, we got the bride as well, and this little pumpkin guy. This here is more of a complete style illustration. This is another Inktober drawing. Just these kids entering this house with, I don't know, there's tentacles and everything kind of surrounding them. This guy is fun. This sort of brain, it's almost like a Krang type thing, but this brain operated mech. Yeah, looking at this now, I think I may have went overboard with all this gadgetry and stuff like that. Maybe simplify that a bit in the future. This is kind of a fun one of of an octopus being carried away by balloons. Another guy running away on some distant planet from, I don't know, these little probes or something like that are after him, some little drones. This alien guy crash lands, maybe crash landed on Earth, I don't know, but that's another one of my reoccurring themes, my kind of go-tos. I like doing that kind of stuff. Another guy in space. I'm not sure what he definitely looks like. He's afraid of something, so I'm not sure. But here's another one, and this guy looks like maybe he entered a cave or something, and the cave comes alive like he's an explorer, and now he's in some big trouble. Here's just a little robot dropped his ice cream cone. More cutesy type illustration. I like this guy. Just this little guy in this, maybe like a, you know, tricked out Segway or something, space Segway, just doing like an Evel Knievel style jump here. I like the idea that it's just so small and get some sense of scale there. Here I was playing around with some otter sketches. I had gone to Arizona and saw some otters. These were kind of fun, so I decided to do some space otters. Didn't really complete anything there, and then of course some cute kind of fun otters too as well. This girl here on this kind of skateboard that looks like sort of a makeshift skateboard, like she kind of tricked it out herself. But I thought that was kind of fun. This guy here, sort of a cybernetic zombie. You know, I don't know why that would exist in the world, but it's fun to draw. Here's just a robot hot dog vendor. I would definitely frequent this hot dog shop if there was a robot there serving up some wieners. Here's this guy. He looks like he's not complete yet, but maybe, you know, maybe when he actually is, you know, all finished up, probably not a good thing because he looks a little menacing there. So this guy here, that's my little mascot, my Circ worker, my hench minion, and he's powering this construction mech. And that's something that we would need to kind of dig extra expansions onto the underground layer or whatever. But he's got all kinds of cool stuff, drills and little clamper things or whatever. But I kind of like that one, so that's why I took it to color drawing. Here's a little bear, kind of, you know, like a dad bear, kind of on a camping trip, maybe lost in the woods. This is sort of going back to what I did with that cybernetic zombie, but I thought a cyborg mummy might be cool too, so that one I decided to color out and everything. This is just sort of a fun one. I wanted to do something cute with this girl with this sort of cat hat, all these cats on her head. This is going back to that first one I was showing you with Sue the dinosaur and that kind of all-star team up of science heroes. This would be Ham the chimp. A few different sketches. I still got to work on that. I'm trying to get the pose right that I want for that. This girl on this kind of bike with all this different stuff. I don't know, just kind of out of the ordinary. Might be fun. This is me trying to do some more Disney-esque type stuff. Red Riding Hood, Goldilocks, whatever. Here is just some animals. I wanted to kind of do something with this leaf type pattern and have them kind of transform into actual animals. I don't know if that was inspired by maybe Pocahontas or something like that. I don't know. Let's see. This is a tardigrade. I don't know if you know these guys, but they're these little microscopic organisms. They're actually animals, I think. But they can live in space, and it's like impossible to kill them. So I did I don't know if it would be a t-shirt design, but I did a finished design, but I wasn't really happy with the type, so I'm going to rework it and everything. But those are really interesting creatures if you're not familiar. They're also called water bears if you just Google that. Here's just a turtle in a tank. I like the idea of a turtle having this armored shell, but also, you know, in a tank. Here's just sort of sleepwalking zombie. And like I was saying, there's another Frankenstein with the little girl kind of walking away, so I'm a big fan of Frankenstein. And oh yeah, I told you about Kevin Cross. You should definitely check out his video. I'll put a little, what do you call it, a little card there so you can check that out. Click on that because he's got a really cool sketchbook videos where he draws a Frankenstein in every book, like I said. And this is my final piece. I really like this one, just kind of fun. This dog's got this bone to him, but it's this zombie's arm. So that is my complete sketchbook. So hope you enjoyed that and how to make it and everything.
All right, so there you have it. That is my little workaround for creating a sketchbook. Probably not the ideal way to go about it, but like I said, that's something we're gonna work on. And I wanna know what you guys think. Do you have trouble keeping a sketchbook? Because that's something I'm gonna be doing in the next video or so, and really trying to get back into, like I said, I mean, I've tried several times and it just hasn't worked for me for whatever reasons, but it's something I need to work on because it's really important to keep a sketchbook, something you can kind of carry around with you and just sketch here and there and not be too precious about. So we're going to talk about that, but I want to know what you guys think. What are some sketchbook tips that you have? And who knows, maybe I will include them in the next video. I will see you guys later. That is all. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me here in the Art Lab. There's a lot of other great content on the channel, so click that subscribe button and you won't miss a thing. If you're an aspiring evil genius, visit Serkworks.com for all your mad science supply needs. And if you want to contact me, hit me up in the comments section or follow me on social media. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you then.